bringing you some Fog of War gameplay in BF1. This is one of the new custom game modes that just went live, as well as hardcore. This one is pistols only and minimal HUD, and I've only played a couple of games of it so far, and that's what you're seeing here. Definitely had fun with it, but I think it needs more maps and maybe a kill feed. It's just on Argonne Forest as far as I can tell at the moment. More maps would of course be welcomed. So then, the main topic of today's video is server rentals. The server rental program has just rolled out for BF1, and if you're not familiar with it, it's now the only way that you can rent your own Battlefield server on PC. In previous titles, you could rent servers from third-party websites like, say, Multiplay, i3D, etc., but now it's all being done internally, and you order them directly from DICE. Now that's all dandy for me, provided that we've got the proper tools to control the servers that we buy like we always could, and right now it has to be said that we don't have that. The server rental program is listed as being in beta, and to be fair, they've said that they will be updating it constantly with new features, tools and settings, but right now at its launch it's a bit bare in what you can do with it, but most of the things I'm going to talk about I'm sure DICE are already working on. So I wanted to share what I think will be needed going forward to add some constructive criticism and to bring it on a level playing field with the old system and maybe even beyond. To start with, we're going to quickly go over what's currently available. Of course, you can change the name of the server and the description, pretty basic stuff. You can then pick a map rotation that you want. To be clear, you can pick any game mode that isn't operations. Right now, there's currently no way to make an operations server. It's also worth noting something important: when you buy a server, you don't pick the player count, and instead, you pay a set price and just get a 64 slot server. However, if you want to put a small game mode in the rotation such as Rush or Domination, your server will automatically be limited to the lowest player count, and that's usually 24. I'll get onto pricing in a little bit. After that, you can limit weapons, but unfortunately you cannot limit specific weapons, grenades or gadgets, and you can only simply limit weapon types. So melee weapons, SMGs, shotguns, etc. Same with playable classes. You can limit each class in its entirety, including the elite classes. What's good about this system is that when you get into game, it simply won't let you select things that have been banned, so no more instances of you using an item that you shouldn't, like in BF4, and getting insta-killed by a plugin, which used to be very frustrating. It's the same deal with vehicles as well. You can simply limit land and air vehicles, but nothing specific just yet. Under miscellaneous and rules, you've then got some familiar settings such as turning off the kill cam, friendly fire, 3D spotting, and tweaking ticket count and respawn time. Lastly, you pick your region, and here we get onto a problem already. Less than a day after the launch, you can no longer order a server in Europe or US East because the capacity has already been reached, whatever that means. And I'm sure that more capacity will be added and made available when it's needed, but it's a bit frustrating if you wanted to get a server right now in Europe and you're told that you can't. Pricing wise, these servers are pretty flexible. You can rent them from as little as 1 day for only £2.59 in the UK, up to 180 days for £129.99. If you order a server per month, like I guess most people would, then it's going to cost you £34.99. Let's compare that quickly to UK server provider Multiplay in BF4. Now I can't compare prices for BF1 because of course that's not possible anymore, but let's use BF4 as an example. If I wanted to get a 64 player Battlefield server from them right now, it would cost me £64 a month. It's £1 a slot. And when you put it into that context, the servers in fairness are pretty reasonably priced. It's going to be interesting though to see how well they perform compared to a dedicated server from a third party. Now, one of the big issues with the price comes from if you don't want a 64 player server. If, let's say, you just wanted a domination server for you and your friends, you're unfortunately paying the price for a 64 player server even though you don't really want one. And I think something needs to be done down the line to scale the pricing depending on the size of server you want. It seems dumb to me that if you only want like a 24 player Rush server or a domination server, you have to pay the full price for the 64 player anyway, and it's going to be scaled down. So that's where we are today with the program, but what does it need to make it better? Well, there are two things you'll notice that are glaringly missing. Firstly, there's no control to kick or ban anyone. If you buy a server and you come across someone who's cheating or trolling, however rare that may be, or even being abusive or racist in chat, whatever the situation is, there's nothing you can do about it at the moment. You've got to rely on the automated system to deal with it. Another massive issue is the lack of a password option. That's right, currently you cannot password protect your servers, so unfortunately it's still going to make it difficult for content creators. There's another huge issue here. I know esports is not the first first thing you think of when it comes to BF1, and in fairness, I don't think it's got that much esports potential myself at all, but I do attend a number of events a year in the UK with friends, usually playing a mixture of games, but the event that we were planning on attending at the end of the year have said that they're going to hold a BF1 tournament, that's I-59. Great, we said, that'll be a blast, let's do it, but hold on, that seems like it just won't be possible at the moment. Previously, all tournament servers were hosted on site in BF3 and BF4, easy considering the fact that it's a server hosting company that runs the event, but really now that's no longer possible. And how do you stop people connecting into a tournament game when there's no password? And even worse, how would you get rid of them when you can't even kick them? The simple answer is that you just cannot do it with the current system. Unless the next patch comes before that event, then it just won't happen as far as I can tell. Maybe they could secure a special one-off server from DICE, we'll see. I'd also love it down the line if we could pick specific items to remove, such as a specific shotgun or a gadget or a specific vehicle, or even just remove behemoths but keep air vehicles. It's important that if someone's buying a server, that they should really have as much control as possible over how it's run. Of course, this provides a big predicament because DICE wants players to have a consistent experience, and for quick play and when you just click, hey, I want to play Operations or Conquest, I agree with that. I think that should always put you in a vanilla rule server, and I think that's why the program was brought out in the first place. But right now it does appear as though custom servers are entering quick play, at least ones with custom map rotations. In my personal ideal version of like a server that you buy right now, if you change too many settings, I think that your server should no longer fill from the quick play list, but it should still be ranked and available via the server browser if people want to play on it. So if I want to run a pistol only server or a 24/7 Argonne Forest server for my community, I can do that, but they're going to have to favorite the server and opt into it and join that way instead, rather than it being in quick play, because quick play is for people who want to get a vanilla experience, and I love that. I love the fact that I can just click quick play, click a game mode, and I'm in, it's vanilla rules, and I can just go about my way. But what I've seen some people experience and report on so far with the custom servers is that they'll click quick play and they might end up on a server that's only running Amiens, for example, and I don't think that's ideal. So either remove custom servers entirely from quick play or provide players with a tick box where they accept servers with different rules, for instance, and there you get the best of both worlds. I think the server admin page also needs some sort of indication as to what's going to happen with the server. Will it be ranked, unranked? Will it go into quick play? Will it not? So I think when you're setting your server up, there definitely needs to be a visual indication of the effect of some of the things that you're changing, so you know, hey, if I add this many tickets, or if I ban this many weapons, or change certain things, add instant vehicle respawn, whatever it is, this server is no longer going to be ranked, or this server is no longer going to be in the quick play menu. That would be very helpful for server owners to have that. What about a whitelist as well? Well, you buy a community server right now, you've paid for it, you come on to play and it's full. Well, you can't kick anyone, so what do? You can't even play on your own server. Well, of course in BF4 you could have a whitelist. It's not ideal for someone to be kicked, but usually it picks the last person that joined to make way for whitelisted people. Right now that's not an option. Now there may be a hidden feature when you buy a server and it will grant you access. I don't know, I can't confirm that, but it doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. And there are of course some other basic features that need to be implemented on bought custom servers, being able to switch players to the other team, for example, or even the amount of players needed to start a game, for instance. Right now I could buy my own server to film some stuff, but I can't even change the amount of players needed to start the game, so it's really impossible to just go on by myself or with one other friend to do stuff. And that's the same for everyone else as well. I could join the server on my own, but it would always be in the pre-game state. And just to be clear, this is already a feature on the console server program for BF4, so I'm a little surprised to see that it's not here in the first build in BF1. And what about being able to turn off weather effects too? I know that a lot of people would appreciate that because they don't like the fog or they don't like the sandstorm, they find it a bit intrusive in their gameplay. As it stands, there's really a lot of features missing, and yes, it is in beta, and I'm sure, as I said, DICE are working on these things, but on the initial launch of the Rent a Server program, it's not made a good initial impression. Also, something I'd like to mention regarding BF1 servers in general. I've had a lot of African, South African and Southeast Asian Battlefield players reach out to me saying that they haven't got any local servers to play on BF1, and the closest ones to them are usually hosted in Europe or the UK, and as such they're joining games and playing with pings of 200 to 300, which of course is an awful gameplay experience not only for them but also for other players in the game with normal pings. They've paid the $70 for the game or whatever it is, and they can't actually play on a server with a decent ping because they haven't got any that are near them. That's obviously a big problem. And in South Africa especially, it looks like there's a big Battlefield fan base over there who are simply being shafted right now. So it would be awesome if DICE and EA stepped up to the plate, acknowledged this, and provided them with some local servers so they can enjoy the game and play it the way it was meant to be played. This wasn't a problem in BF3 and BF4 because they could play on rented servers provided by third-party hosts that were more local to them. Not a big deal there, but in BF1 however, it's a massive problem for those guys, and hopefully DICE will move to rectify this and help those players out. Now finally for today, a bit of a treat for you guys. Logitech contacted me and said, hey, do you want to give away some of our specific BF1 peripherals? And I said, yes, of course I do, naturally. So they sent over 2 sets of the BF1 gear for me. We've got headsets, mice, mouse mats and keyboards. They're all BF1 themed and they look and play very nice indeed. If you want a chance of winning some of this swag, then leave a comment down below and I'll pick some people at random to be winners, then send it to you through the post. Links are in the description to the Logitech stuff if you want to check it out in more detail. And that's all for today folks. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give me that thumbs up, that'd be amazing. If you didn't, a thumbs down. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.